Most of you know me. I'm Wendy Hersh, President of the Roosevelt Island Disabled Association. This is Andrew Oliver on the board. So our mission is still to improve and enhance the quality of life of individuals with disabilities, mental, physical, or emotional, living on Roosevelt Island by offering social service resources, cultural and social activities, and transportation for our members. Over the past year, our membership has continued to grow, with more participation in our events and more utilization of our services and resources by our members. Our goal is to continue to be more inclusive of all individuals with any type of disability, including the younger generation living on Roosevelt Island and those with developmental disabilities, whether living in a group home or at home independently. We will continue our efforts to reach out to all residents living with a disability here. Some services and events we've had and continue to offer are our annual holiday meals, for individuals to assist them with social activity and to ensure their inclusiveness in the island. Travel to groups of individuals with disabilities to travel safely together in a wheelchair-accessible bus to places that would not be available to them to travel to within and outside of New York City, such as monthly shopping trips. We started trips to the food pantry this year, some of the cultural trips, and summer barbecues, movies, picnics, etc. Island events we have and will continue to co-sponsor and host is the Intergenerational Classical Concert with RIDA, Cherry Blossom Festival, Open Doors Poetry and Book events, mental health fairs. This year we also did a food and clothing giveaway that was really good, so we'll continue with that. Intergenerational workshops with the Girl Scouts, paint and set jewelry making, Moving Forward Teens program, and the fruit vegetable program sponsored by Gail Brewer's office. And we will also be providing the bus this year for the Figment event. So all day long we will have that running for disabled to get down to the event. We also have a loan program on an on-needs basis, providing assistive devices to residents as well as to employees here. Events being scheduled for the 2019-20 year are more intergenerational workshops and events, such as a creative arts event and jewelry making workshop, and the Moving Forward Teens cooking class. We also started Friday social interaction groups. So each Friday night of each month, it's a different event. So we have a movie night, a do-for-one social interaction night, which builds mentor relationships between people with and without developmental disabilities, bingo night, coloring conversation, and karaoke. We hope to have an assistive technology fair, open door and forums for younger residents on gun violence and the results of gun violence. And hopefully, if Hope Memorial gets installed this year, we hope to have a big ADA event at that installation of the Hope Memorial. Together Carter Burden and RIDA have requested private funding for a tech pilot that would bring digital smart screens and tech education to homebound seniors and individuals with disabilities in order to be able to access resources and feel more part of this community.
Good evening. Again, I'm Andrew. I'm a board member and support this evening to get us through the presentation. So our wheelchair accessible bus, which is a 2001 Ford minibus, it was repaired in 2018, but it's become more and more difficult to repair because of its age and parts being obsolete. So we're having a hard time finding some of the parts. This is why we've been seeking options for a newer bus. It's gotten us through this last year, but at this time, funds being asked for would serve a better purpose by actually going towards a brand new bus. Our number one concern is safety for everyone who rides. After doing the research, our board has concluded that the cost of a suitable bus is anywhere between $39,000 and $65,000. And if you look in the packet, you'll see some examples of some buses that we've been looking at. So that's more than we originally asked for in the original proposal. These buses are much safer, more comfortable for wheelchair users, and seats between 12 to 15 passengers, as well as two wheelchairs. And you know, it's rare in New York City for a neighborhood like Roosevelt Island or some other neighborhood to actually have a wheelchair accessible bus that offers the kind of flexibility that we can. Mary and I were just talking the other day about whenever the bus goes over to Queens, other people in Queens areas are looking at the bus and saying, like, where in the world does that come from? you know, it just speaks to the unique and rare gift that we have to offer the residents here. We have worked well collaboratively with other island organizations such as RIRA, CBN's Senior Center, Girl Scouts, Do for One, Open Doors, and recently the new Moving Forward Teen Program, and we'll continue to work with all those organizations. Our continuous goal is to educate more and more people on Roosevelt Island living with a disability about our services and welcome any individual with a disability to become a member of our organization. Membership is free. We will continue to create more visibility for and acceptance for people with disabilities by way of increased involvement in island activities and a greater awareness by the Roosevelt Island community by encouraging the population to engage and assist in activities. RIDA aligns itself with RIOC's stated mission by providing people with disabilities living on Roosevelt Island programming that will enable them to travel off the island, attend cultural events, and celebrate holidays with others regardless of their ability to pay. Specifically, 100% of public purpose funding received by RIDA goes towards this effort. This falls in line with RIOC's stated mission to develop and maintain services to Roosevelt Island residents who are stakeholders in the corporation. Thank you.
Thank you for that. The bus obviously is something I trust is foremost on your mind. So the options for a bus, or as I understand it, you find a good used bus, you find a new bus, lease a bus. Have you looked at all three of those in the context of?
Leasing, we have some in your package, you'll see, you know, what we have in the packet is what there is right now. So 2 weeks from now, it might not be the same buses. So there's some new ones in there, there are used ones in there. We haven't looked at leasing, just haven't looked at leasing. I would imagine for the, you know, so it's so unpredictable, like the trips that we go on. I think it would be, I don't know how conducive that would be to, you know, what we do.
Leasing for a year. I mean, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I thought of it because I noticed that the 2015 bus said leasing
I did look into
options.
donations like you had suggested last year,
Yeah.
and I really couldn't find anything where they were donating anything. So that I did look into.
How big a bus is this you're talking about?
14.
We wanted, well, the one we have now is 10, we would like one 14 passengers and at least 2 wheelchairs, and then the seats do fold up on many of them, so you could fit more wheelchairs on it. So it's come to the point where the involvement has grown, so sometimes we have to make 2 or 3 trips, like to the food pantry. You know, we can't fit everybody on the bus.
I thought that you guys used the red bus to go to this, or is that?
Now, that's something different, yeah.
Once again, I apologize, but let's see if I understand. So the price range we're talking about for a bus, you don't have an answer on the leasing cost, but let's talk a good, slightly used bus versus a new bus.
So the
Is
cheapest we
is
found
all
was
that
like
in your
39.
package?
Yeah.
That was for
And the
you?
most expensive ones are all yours.
Oh, those are
Down,
all
it has 18s, 09.
You know, the
They had
problem is,
some
so this is a
specific
2000.
2015.
Yeah, I know somebody told me.
This is a 2001, the one we have. I didn't even realize it was that old. So to get one that's too old defeats the purpose again. So, you know, I was looking at some, I did find some 2015, 16,
36,000 miles isn't bad.
right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
That's probably.
And they're willing to work, you know, to work with us to keep us informed when they get something in.
So do you think that, in my mind, a proper fund drive, in my mind, I think there would be great sentiment for contributions for a bus that helps disabled and seniors. I just think that would be the case. Have we actually looked at that in a serious way and thought of a fund drive or that? I just think that folks would contribute.
Well, we're gonna, we put in the proposal, we put for, I think, 20,000, not realizing what it would cost after we did the investigation, the research. So we're gonna have to get the rest from somewhere else if we can't get it from RIOC. So whether it be donations, whether it be going to a politician, we're gonna have to look at all options.
Well, I agree with that, but, so, let's do that.
You helping, you're afraid.
No, look, I made an offer, I think, 3 years or so ago, okay? So, let's look at it seriously. We
Okay.
shouldn't come here each year and have the same discussion, really.
Well,
We
this
should
year,
move.
I was ready for you this year, right?
Okay, right. Okay. Got you. Any questions, from the audience? Ms. Birdie?
No, I want to comment. I've listened to this for years, and they just need a new bus. I mean, we're jiggling them around year in, year out. It's impossible to raise this amount of money from our community. Unfortunately, I know this community. I just think that the Disabled Association does not ask for very much. They work great with Carterburn, they work great with everyone, and it's about time that we really thought that, give them a decent amount of money so that we can get a decent bus, because just to tell them to go fundraise is really hard, and it's annoying almost, because there are so many groups that ask for things, but this is one group that's not served. They don't have children. We're not gardeners and we don't have children. They're like the Historical Society, we're the oddballs. Because most of the groups are for children. Your gardens, things like that are for kids. We have a specific group of people on this island that need services. And aside from the Disabled Association, some of RIVA, the Historical Society, they're not being served because most of the funds are going to kids. So I really think that it's time that some of this unique Roosevelt Island population really gets serious consideration instead of just being given, come back next year or we'll, So that's my opinion. I really think that, us of the older generation, you'll hear from me tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
I'm gonna make one more comment on this. I'm trying to help move this forward, not move that. I mean, I hear what Ms. Birdie is saying. I understand there are some views. So, in my view, I just can't believe that if we assemble a few people on this island and start a drive, that we could not get a bus for our disabled. I've seen. I just find that hard. As a child, I worked with my mother in a senior center for years. She forced me to come there. Later on, I actually began to enjoy it, and I saw needs. This is in another state, by the way. This is not in New York. So I think this island is big enough and bold enough and can be serious enough to make this happen. We just have to have the right campaign put in place.
So like we do a flea market in the summer, and so all the money made helps, override whatever other costs we have. And trying to get an extra $1 for that, knowing it goes to the organization is hard. And you're talking about raising, $50,000 or something. I sort of agree with
I
you.
mean, GoFundMe is also a possible that you can then advertise the different links. I mean, I would probably, if you had a GoFundMe page, which was easy to do with a credit card, I'd throw $50, $100. People I think would. Plus, I'm not saying you don't go for this RIOC money. Obviously, this is a major part of what you need as well. But the idea that Judy's saying, we've always given you to the top of your dollar. Last year, I think we went 2,000 less. We've always treated this organization appropriately. But if we give you 40, who doesn't get the 20? Are the seniors going to be upset because they didn't get it, or the ones with kids, or the nature ones? That's the biggest difficulty here, is that it's not enough money for everybody. So we have to look at how can we make it work? And so I think Dave is just suggesting, we could do the 20, you know, which is what we've done or whatever in the past, but to go high, everybody, you know, is pleading a case. Everybody, you know, and we've always supported the disabled, so, but we can't do this alone. We can't pay the whole thing with the RIOC funds, because Judy won't get any. You know, because God, we have to take care of the kids.
And the old folks.
But thank you for your presentation, but I think we should think about, you know, really seriously. I tried to make the same point in prior times, but for
You're
some
talking
reason we
about
can't
donations.
get off the dime on this.
I've tried to find donations, I could not find any. So
Well,
you were able to, I
I'm
don't know where
trying
you
to say
found it
that,
from.
I'm trying to say that this is an island, and just maybe you don't have to be alone on this. I don't know,
would
but
be
maybe
fine.
you don't.
It's
And
40,
I-
oh, sorry.
And I know some very experienced people on this island who are good at advertising and who can make things work, I think. Okay, thank you.
Can I just do one question? Is 41,000 your complete budget, or is that just what you want?
So
for-
it's 21,000 is our budget, and then 20,000
For
extra to
the-
go towards the roads.
And the whole budget is what you're asking for from you?
No, we actually spend more than that, and we get a small grant from Vista.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very small.